Untamed is going to be untamed. It's going to be a little crazy. I want to talk to my people. I want to talk to my brothers and sisters. We can have grace and humility in how we interact with other people.
Oh, hot dog, look at you.
And nobody talked about what's really happening.
And let's have conversations about what truth is. Okay. Hey, we had a new set. Should we show everybody the new set? Do we have a wide range camera? We'll put this up there so you guys can see what's kind of going on. There you go. Ah, look at you. You're even moving around. How are you doing that? Okay, let's go back. Yeah, so no Laura today. Hopefully everyone can hear me. Is this thing on right? Is this on right? Yeah, is that better? Can you hear me on your side? Awesome. Okay. So here's the thing. Laura is speaking at an event tonight, and they got behind. And because it was a 2-day event, typically it's 1 day. She had an event yesterday, which we were at yesterday. We have another event going into today. And then she leaves to go back. So I promise we will have Laura Logan on. I am going to see if David can pop in to talk about what's going to happen on Monday. So a couple things that are going to happen on Monday, just so you know, related to Dave Clements. One, he's got another video that he's going to be dropping, and we're going to kind of walk through that video in the article that he's been writing. If you didn't get a chance to go see his last podcast, 23 minutes long, you should probably go do that. I'm going to open the show with a couple of things, and I have to kind of shoot from the hip a little bit so people will have the ability to call in. We'll put the number up so you guys can call in today. Just so you know, we were supposed to have Luke Coffey on, which is our co-host and producer. Luke, by the way, was a J6er. He was subjected to 25-year prison sentence, and had he not gotten a pardon, he'd be in jail today. So stolen elections have consequences, and they would have cost him 25 years. Pretty hard to look at that and what happened to Luke and not be disenfranchised with how slowly things are moving with the DOJ, considering how swiftly they moved in order to throw people in the gulag on a charge that was manufactured. And when I mean manufactured, the charge was manufactured, completely manufactured. The 1512, which the Supreme Court overruled. And I don't want to go back in time too far to talk about all the things the left has done, but the left hasn't told the truth about anything. Nothing. The 1512 charge, if you don't remember, is influencing a proceeding. I think it's influencing, isn't it? Influencing a proceeding. Let me actually look that up to make sure that I'm on 1512. Charge. Tampering with witnesses, victims, or informants. It talks about destroying evidence, obstructing justice, or intimidating individuals to influence a federal proceeding. So this was used in Enron, and it was actually a law that was passed because of Enron. And now the Supreme Court basically said that this isn't, you basically are just trying to fit a square peg in a round hole. We can talk about what they did to President Trump and removing him from the Colorado ballot, because that was done as well. And so we have a lot of bad things that have been done to people where they have paid the price. Now, let's fast forward for a minute and just take a minute and think about Tina Peters. So Tina Peters, as of today, has been incarcerated for 1 year. And there's a lot of people, even President Trump talked about this today. So we're going to go ahead and play this thing from Juan O'Savin, and then I'll put up my post from before. So let's go ahead and play Juan O'Savin's. Let's play the video of President Trump, and then I'll read what Juan had to say.
Who was an election official, and she saw cheating in Colorado, and she viewed it as horrible, and she said, "What's going on here?" And she went to the machine and she tried to open to find out whether or not it was cheating. And they went to her and they said, "Did you touch this machine?" "Yes." And they arrested her. They arrested her instead of the people that did the cheating. It's a state charge, so it's hard to do anything with. But we're gonna do something. What they did in Colorado. Look, Colorado just went to all mail-in voting. That means they cheat. That's why they lost. That's one of the reasons, but that's a big reason why they just lost the whole Space Command.
So Colorado lost Space Command. The DOJ is absolutely feckless and has done nothing to protect the interests of the people. March 1 year today. And now they went to full mail-in ballots. So you got California, Washington, Oregon. You can look at all the states that have gone radically to the radical left, and they're all run by Dominion voting systems. Now, I want to point out that we have another deposition that's going to hit over the next few days with this election fraud. This deposition that we're going to hear is going to be someone directly related to Dominion voting systems. Yesterday, you had the connection between Smartmatic and Dominion, and then the one you had previous to that was someone that was an actual expert and worked for Smartmatic for 13 years and helped steal elections not only in Venezuela, but also correlating that with the people in the United States. There are some laws that have been broken by doing that. And some of the things that came up in the conversation that a bunch of us were having was, is there a statute of limitations? There's not a statute of limitations to sedition, and there's not a statute of limitations to treason. So I just want to make sure we point that out. Let's put up what Juan had to say, though. I want to kind of address this specifically. What did Juan say on that video? Can you put it up? Oh, you don't? A2. Isn't it A2? Geez, let me pull it up. Let me actually go grab it real quick. We had to pivot quite a bit today because we were going to have 4 people in the studio. So now you get a bunch of stuff from me. Probably won't be a very long show today because we're not all that prepared for it. Let's go to this. Free Tina. New information has revealed that Tina is still incarcerated because of a system that is broken. We can fault many that are holding her captive to this day, because when she walks free, the state of Colorado will be revealed for what it is. The cheating in the vote, the money laundering, the child trafficking, the Satanist agenda of LGBTQs, and the theft of money, land, mineral rights, and running a state that makes money on taking kids away from their parents. CPS. So much to reveal, yet what is their defense? Tina Peters, a Gold Star mom, 70-year-old cancer survivor with a dead son, a husband taken to another state that was forced to divorce Tina and then died in a rest home. Tina is a good woman and strong, but a year incarcerated is taking a toll. Please pray for Tina, and we are all working to get her out on bail ASAP. Please pray and help her out at tinapeters.us. Tina Peters is still in jail. And these criminals, these pieces of trash in a rotted apparatus. And look, I got a chance to review some things related to Eric Coomer's attorney. And they keep saying that Joe likes to talk. Why wouldn't I talk? You guys like to shut people down and get them to not talk about you. I'm going to continue to talk about you because you're a bunch of criminals. You're criminals that are defending a criminal and to put a criminal out there so that criminal can continue to do criminal stuff with a system that's absolutely fraudulent, in a state that's absolutely stolen at every level, with a judiciary that's absolutely rotted. So why wouldn't I talk? But I got a chance to go through the response to the judgment. And these pieces of trash, Brad Clower, you know what? I don't even know if we'll put it up later. We'll come back to it. So this is what I had to say this morning about Tina Peters. If we can just go to what I said this morning. And then we're going to walk through some of the things. I was told Tina Peters would be out before her birthday. Then they stood in the way of that happening and sent some throne sniffer to tell us it's not possible and focus on the right levers of power. If President Trump is not able to remove a thorn but can drop 4 tons of bombs on the adversary, what the hell are we really doing here? Today marks 1 year of incarceration of Tina Peters while Dominion thieves and liars continue the charade. Sedition and treason abound, while Tina is still a political prisoner. Pray for justice and God's vengeance. Free Tina Peters. Yeah, I'll take a little bit of God's vengeance at this point. I think that would be appropriate. Let's jump to Charlie Kirk, shall we? Can we jump to Charlie Kirk? I had this video that came across my feed, and I thought it was an appropriate video. And it talks about what Charlie wanted to be known for. And by the way, this happened just hours before he was murdered. And I got a different perspective on Charlie Kirk and whether or not Tyler Robinson was involved in it last night. I'm not sure I'll share a whole lot of it, but I do believe that the entire narrative that they put out in the public is not accurate. But let's, if we can, let's go ahead and play that video.
How do you want to be remembered?
I mean, if I die?
Everything just goes away. How would you, if you could be associated with one thing, how would you want to be remembered?
I want to be remembered for courage for my faith. That would be the most important thing. The most important thing is my faith in my life.
I don't know if you know this, but everyone dies. It's important to remind yourself of that. That you face God, the judge, and he's going to list everything you did wrong in your life. It's going to be a long sentencing hearing for me. Well, you get justice, which is hell, because that's what we deserve. Mercy, which is less of that, which I'll allow the theologians figure out what that is. Or grace. What is grace? Grace is something so unique, so different, so profound. Which is as soon as the sentencing is about to be ushered in, someone comes in and says, no, I will serve that prison sentence for him. I will go into the prison cell for him or her so that they can live forever. That's grace. You didn't earn it. You didn't check boxes for it. You didn't go park cars for a ministry and that gets you extra points to go to heaven. None of that's true. It's that it's equally accepted for all people that allow Jesus Christ to be your Savior, the Savior of the world, to be born new and to be completely and totally renewed. That's a gift that we must try to give all people in the world.
I mean, I've had an unbelievably blessed life. Been doing this now, it'll be 12 years on June 5th.
Such a young man to do it.
So young.
Yeah, so praise God. I mean, I've been all across the world. I've met with world leaders. I've flown in Air Force One, got to know a president. I have an amazing family, the podcast, Turning Point USA, all that stuff. And so you experience that and you're like, what actually matters? What matters is your relationship with the divine, your relationship with your family, your kids, and maybe a close collection of friends, and your relationship with the truth. And you could decide to lie all the time, then you become a tortured individual. And you know those people. You just turn on television. They're constantly lying, and they just become like disfigured, either emotionally, spiritually, or physically. Because when you lie, I believe you're actually committing suicide of the soul. I really believe that.
Are you a Christian by any chance?
Very, very much so.
Like, why is that exactly?
Jesus saved my life. I'm a sinner, gave my life to Christ, most important decision I ever made.
So you believe the Bible is real?
Yes, I believe the Bible is true and real. Yeah.
Why is that?
Well, I could give you the technical answer. There's never been an archaeological discovery that has contradicted the truth of the Bible. And then, of course, the wisdom. There is not a truth of the Bible that if you apply to your life does not improve dramatically. And then finally, we have the most accurate and transparent, historically robust account that one can have of the most important figure ever to live in the history of the world, Jesus of Nazareth. And the resurrection is the pinpoint of my belief that Jesus did rise from the grave so that we may live. And for those of you that have not given your life to Christ, I could tell you it is the most freeing, liberating thing that a human being can possibly do. The most important thing that you can do, which is to be born new into the kingdom of God.
He said something interesting that I thought was really interesting. Is this, I got to move this around. You're going to get mad at me for doing this, but I can't hear me. How's that? Is that better? Yeah, can you hear me? All right. One of the things that he says is that he believes that when they lie, you're actually, destroying your soul. And I believe that. We've seen so much of these liars kind of do whatever they want and say whatever they want and create these falsities. And one of the places that they've done this is with every I trace everything back to the election system. I trace everything back to not having paper ballots in person and having a system that was designed to defraud the American people. And I'm not sure that everyone understands the concept behind what that means. I mean, every year when they pass new taxes and do more things to take more money from you, you have to just deal with the consequences. It's as if they can take whatever they want. As a matter of fact, I don't even, let's hypothetically say that you get pulled over in a car, right? And you're doing 3 miles and over the speed limit, 5 miles over, let's say 10 miles over the speed limit. And the guy walks up to you and you say you had cruise control on at 55. Let's say the cruise control was on 55, the speed limit's 55. They walk up and say, you were doing 10 over the speed limit. You're like, no, I wasn't. And you're like, yeah, you were. I was like, well, my cruise control was on and I was doing 55 miles an hour. I wasn't doing 65. And they're like, yeah, give me your license and registration. So you hand him your license and your registration. And he goes back to his car and he comes back and he hands you a ticket. It's like $165. And by the way, if you want to go to court, you can go to court, but signing here is not an admission of guilt, but you need to pay this. But if you want to pay it early, it'll go from 4 points to 2 points. And you say, listen, I wasn't speeding. I was doing 55. The speed limit was set in my thing. I had the cruise control on. So you go to the judge, in front of the judge, and you're like, Judge, I was sitting there staring at, you're a fact witness for yourself. You're staring at the deal. Your cruise control's on. And you're looking at the thing. You're doing 55. You see the cops. You don't press on the brake at all. You walk through the entire thing, and the police officer walks up, gets on the stand, and goes, yeah, he was doing 65 miles an hour. I clocked him at 65 miles an hour. And you know the guy's lying. You know 100% he's lying. And you get done and you said, hey, look, I was doing 55 and this guy says you're doing 65 and sure enough, you were doing 55. And judge says, it's 4 points on your license. If I find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt and your fine is $580. And you go, wait, I thought the fine was $165. Yeah, but you question our authority, so it went from $165 to $580. Now the cop lied. And you're like, okay, what's the process? How can I appeal? They're like, no, you don't get to appeal. See, the judge gets to set the rules, and this guy over here gets to say whatever he wants, and he 100% of the time is found to be credible, and you are found not to be credible. Tell me I'm lying. That's the judiciary. That's the fact that they can take whatever from you that they want. Let's use another example. They come in and they're like, your house is worth $1.5 million. Let's say it's worth $500,000, $300,000. I thought 100, it doesn't even matter. $300,000. And 2024 comes along, you got to pay $1,000 in taxes for your $300,000 house. Next year comes along, they said, yeah, we find that your house is worth $450,000. You have to write us a check for $1,700. So you go and you say, hey, look, my house isn't worth $450,000, and I can't really afford a nearly 60% increase in taxes. Well, they say, what do you think it's worth? And then you say, well, I think it's worth $350. And they go and you send it over for appeal, and they find 3 or 4 things that are worth $500,000 and $600,000 and $400,000, and then they come in and say, okay, we found against you it's $450,000. The fees for us to go through the appeal are $70, and by the way, you still owe $1,700. And if you don't pay it, we're going to come take your house and we'll sell it. Well, let's say you don't have the $1,700 and they go to sell your home. Government comes in, seizes your home. So you don't owe anything on it. They walk over and they're like, okay, and we're going to send it to an auction. You try to sell it. You're trying to get $450 for it because they said it was worth $450, right? You're paying $1,700 in taxes on that $450. Oh, that's right, because they have this thing called levy, the mill rate on your house. So they got this hokey little thing they do where they play, the land property value versus the property of the house, right? And so they come in and they send it to auction because you can't sell it for $450. You've been trying to sell it for $450. Can't sell it for $450. You can't afford to pay the $1,700 in taxes. So they sell the house for $300,000. What's your recourse? Or let's say that you go through a process where a judge charges you $1,000 a day on a case you're not even a party to and says, hey, if you don't give up information, even though, hey, I know the law says that you're a journalist and that you're allowed to protect sources because obviously they have come after you and your family. But if you don't do that, we're going to charge you $1,000 a day. And so they charge you $1,000 a day, and then the attorney goes and settles, and he said, all right, we should appeal this because this is unlawful. And then the judge comes back and says, not only am I going to charge you the $1,000 a day, but I'm also going to make you pay all the attorney's fees on a case where the attorneys are paid on a contingency. So we'll just make up whatever number we want on the amount that we're going to pay per hour for you, and don't worry about it. We'll just do that and put the gavel down. It's $91,000. Oh, and by the way, I don't find you credible. Never had a conversation with me. Allowed the other people to slander you, but you can just do whatever you want. Tell me that's a society that we are accustomed to. I can talk about dads all day long that go in to get child custody of their kids. Mother just says, hey, he's a terrible father. Father's like, I'm a really good dad. I go to work every day, 50, 60 hours a week. I do everything I can to support my family. And the judge is like, okay, so what do you make? You're like, okay, I can go through the example after example of why stolen elections make a difference. Because it all leads back to people that are put in positions of power and authority that they want to treat you as a serf or a slave. And someone said something to me a few days ago. They said, Joe, you have this way of telling us what we're experiencing in a way that we can understand it. And I'm like, okay, well, it's simple. You really just want to spell it out. They weaponize a system against people and act indiscriminately. They can do whatever they want, whenever they want. And no matter what you say, you don't have any recourse. You just don't. And the people get on TV and they say stuff like, we're fighting for the American people for democracy. And anybody that has been subjected to these people knows that it's just not true. It's not true. There's no fighting for democracy. One, we're not a democracy. And two, you have a large contingent in this country that is hiding behind false fronts and doing really bad things to Americans. They're called judges, called legislators, they're called governors, they're called, and then you have election companies that are supposed to do a greater good. As an election company, you shouldn't be able to sue jack shit. I should be able to say whatever I want about Eric Coomer or anyone that is involved in suspect behavior that is stealing the voice of the American people. Now, I believe you should be truthful. I was truthful. But now you come out and you say, oh, we're just going to sue people, and then the media does this thing where they prop up all of that evil. And so what Charlie said is really interesting. We're only here for a short time. We all die. Some die sooner than others. But right now, we have it in a completely captured system where I just came up with a couple examples. And let's just talk again about that guy that makes $100,000. Let's say he makes $100,000 a year and he's getting divorced. His wife takes him to court, wants full custody. Now, some mothers and fathers work it out where it's 50-50. I have beautiful children, and I went through this custody battle. It was 50-50. I was married a first time and a second time. First time for, 4.5, 5 years, 4 years, 5 years. And I remember walking into court and I just tell the judge, I was like, listen, I don't care what it takes. I just want to make sure that I have opportunity to have time with my kids. But that's not typically how it works, because most people can't afford a lawyer that did the things that I needed to have done to make sure that I was protected as well as my children. But let's just talk about the guy that makes $100,000, still to move out. He's got the mortgage and the cars and everything else, and he was the breadwinner of the family. Makes $100,000, so after taxes, he makes about $5,000 a month, $60,000 a year, 40%'s gone from his paycheck. Then you remember it's $1,700 a month for health care. So gone again is another $19,000. So you're saying he has $40,000 left after it's all said and done, with $41,000. Let's give the benefit of the doubt, $41,000. So you got 3 kids, $41,000. She has the house. Maybe she works a part-time job, makes a little bit of money. The judge walks in and says, okay, you have to pay child support of $1,500 a month, and you got to pay alimony of $2,000 a month. Okay, so let's go back again. And then, by the way, you're responsible for health care on your kids. So let's go, it goes from $1,000, do the math for you. It goes from $1,700 a month for coverage to $1,000. So you have $1,000 a month, which is $12,000 a year. You have $60,000 left. You reset it, because at the time where you're trying to get it all settled, he's trying to live in basically a rent by the day motel or stay with friends or do something just to survive the fact that he has to pay for all of these obligations in the house that he doesn't live in. And so let's go back to the $60,000. You have $12,000 that comes off the top. You have $1,500 and $2,000 in alimony. $3,500 comes out. So you're at what, $40,000 a year? So you have $40,000 plus $12,000. You're at $52,000. That man's expected to live off $8,000 a year. Yeah. And guess what else? You can't actually write off your child support. You're not allowed to do that. Now, I'm not saying that this happened to me, because it didn't. I would have been very happy to pay only $3,500 a month. And I wanted to make sure I took care of my ex-wife, because I wanted to make sure my kids were well off. But how about all the parents that don't go through that same type of system? The system is designed to destroy fathers, not just in black families, but in any families. And when we talk about things like the government shutting down, how do you feel bad for them when you have to live off of a budget? If you overdraft your bank, they basically just shut you down, take everything from you. But the government can run $37 trillion up in debt, and we get nothing, except for the fact that you're not paying your fair share. And they constantly remind us that if they can't take it from you and your family, that you should be paying more in taxes, that they should be able to take it from big corporations. And then the big corporations are the ones that get all the tax breaks and free health care and all sorts of systems, because the guys at the bottom, we pay the most. And the guys at the bottom mean anyone that actually is in private enterprise that doesn't work for a government, because they don't pay any of it. They pay none of it. It's all considered an entitlement. But now that we sit here and we talk about the different things in government, and we said, okay, we go back in time, and we're like, everything's going to be better. They're not going to throw J6ers in jail like they just did. They're not going to throw J6ers in jail and throw them into the gulag and have a court system create this kabuki theater and not give them a free and fair trial and load up the bench with a bunch of radical wacko leftists, because frankly, they just went and picked the people that they knew were radical leftists and put them on the jury pool. Now, we're not going to do any of that. And we're not going to, by the way, make sure that we stack information in that area to make sure that you're basically brainwashing people into believing that they were violent insurrectionists, even though we know that they weren't. And we're going to get a fair shake now, and people are going to be held accountable for their behavior. Then you fast forward into January. Remember January, where we had the Epstein files that came out in the big folder? Or was it February? It's February, right? So you got the folder, right? So it's a big folder. They get all these influencers. They show up at the White House. And what was in the folders? And Pam Bondi said what? This is why I think Pam Bondi is a shill. I think she's doing exactly what she was told to do. I think there's really bad people that tell Pam Bondi what to do, because it made President Trump look foolish. And it opened up the gate for the radical left to come in and say, oh, President Trump's on the list, that's why he won't release it. But we forget about the fact that for 4 years, the Democrats had all that information, and they did nothing with it. Remember, Epstein died in 2019. We dealt with the scandemic in 2020. And so if you fast forward through all that, they had 4 years. If you were going to go to the mat, they did it with a Steele dossier that they made up. But now they had some real information that somewhere along the line that President Trump was included in those Epstein files. Well, if President Trump was included in those Epstein files and that was actually a real thing, nobody released it. All of a sudden, Pam Bondi walks out. She gets, Rogan O'Hadley, all the guys. You had Scott Pretzler. You had Con Inc. times 1,000 that they showed up. They strategically chose them to show up at the White House. They handed them a folder. They all put it in the air and says, we have all the information. And there was nothing in those folders. Nothing. It was zero. It was an absolute joke. And it made a mockery of President Trump. And President Trump got in and says, it's fake news. It's not even real. And I think what President Trump is saying is that they made a mockery of him, and he went and looked at the information. He's like, this information already came out. This is the stuff that was already released. But then I want to remind you, if you want to go back to Virginia Giuffre, who went into court and had all the information about all the people that were directly related to Jeffrey Epstein. And you know what the judge made him do? Go check it out. Go do your own fact checking on this. The judge actually said you have to destroy it because of how you actually came into possession of it. It wasn't fair. It wasn't fair. Now that reminds me, if I want to go back to 2015, 2016, in building a program that would have been able to, in the dark web, find all the perpetrators and all the victims. It was a really cool program that allowed for us to find and create data where we could find people that were abusing children. So we go and we're like, hey, let's talk to some people in law enforcement. They're like, yeah, we can't do that. That creates an undue advantage. Wouldn't even have a conversation with me. Undue advantage for pedophiles. And these are people in law enforcement. Well, that's pretty funny because as you start fast forwarding through to 2020, 2021, 2022, we have pedophiles and rapists that get put on the street. We got a 22-year-old that had to beg for her life that was shot point blank range and killed by a guy that had been arrested 39 times. And I wish I could say that that's actually a anomaly, that doesn't happen all the time. And you have DAs. I'm going to draw a similarity to you here to show you just how lawless and how rotted our system is. And this is why people hate me, because I'm going to be Captain Obvious for you. I actually don't care if you have an IQ of a watermelon. There's a pretty good chance you can understand what I'm about to tell you. Guys arrested 39 times. Guys arrested 45 times. Guys come across the border, commit sex acts, and are put back on the streets if they're here illegally. They're not shipped out anywhere. You have drugs and you have guns that are on the street. You have an admission in, was it 2014, 2015? I think it was for Fast and Furious, where they admitted that the government was actually selling guns to the cartels that then were coming in the United States and killing Americans. And guess what they did to all those people that were criminals? Nothing. They paroled them early. And what do we see crime rates happen over a fixed period of time? And by the way, let's just not talk about crime rates. Let's talk about the fact that we have school shootings. And that if you isolate the school shootings, it doesn't represent a large number. Now, God forbid any child actually have a problem, but then we stood up and said, all right, we have the perfect solution. Let's put an armed police officer in every school. And they were like, and it started to gain some traction, right? But gain traction. We were gaining traction. Did you put the number up? Can we put that up there just so people can call in? Just so people know they can call in. Because I'm going to go through some stuff with you here. I think if you want to call in and talk about what I'm actually talking about, you can. All right. No obligation, because I'm really having fun going through this stuff. Oh, we do? All right, we'll just hang tight on that real quick. Let me finish my thought here, okay? So you have guns that come across the border, you have drugs come across the border, and they're like, it's China, it's China, it's China, it's China. I don't know about you, but I've been across the border several times. They ask lots of questions. And frankly, if you look like Pueblo Martinez, you usually get questioned a little bit more strenuously. But enough drugs get into the country through given all the stuff that we have that it kills over 25,000 children under the age of 25. Fentanyl. Did we solve the problem? No, we didn't solve that problem either. And conveniently enough, we got school shootings that happened, and then we had a school shooting down in Florida. They had a resource officer with a gun, only he had to go hide in the bushes because he was scared to death he was going to lose his life, and he's about to retire. That's the type of feckless cowards that we have right now in our police force. And you could say, I want to back the blue. Let me just tell you something. I back the blue. I back the blue in my neighborhood and in my community. You know why? Because they're awesome. Because they're awesome. And there are a lot of really good police officers. Now, do we have that video? Do we have the video? This is down in Pueblo County. This is in Colorado. There was literally a call to have this police officer arrested. I kid you not. They had people lined up to go and go after this police officer for doing this. Let's show the video real quick. Do we have the long video? All right, let's show the long video. This is the police officers. Now, this guy was shoplifting with a gun. And I want to point out that they had an uproar in this certain part of the community that this was a racist police officer. Go play it.
I'm gonna hit him.
You want to get tased? Drop the gun! Drop the gun now! Drop it! Drop the gun! Drop the gun! Drop the gun!
They're chasing
Drop
this guy,
it!
by the way.
Drop it! Don't let him get over there. Davis, you're taking my son away. Drop it! Drop the gun! Drop the gun! Drop it! Drop it!
He's telling them to check the backdrop.
Drop it! Drop the gun! Closer, closer, closer. Watch the backdrop. Get out of the way! Get out of the way! You want me to hit him? He's going to that car! I'm gonna hit him.
Rescue efforts were attempted. However, the suspect was pronounced deceased at the scene.
I mean, you tell me. You tell me. They lined up to say that the police officer murdered him, that he didn't fire his gun at them. That's how ridiculous our legal system and our lawless society has gotten. We talk about how we can stop what's happening in the schools, common sense changes. We've gotten so far down the rabbit hole that you got the ACLU sitting on one side and you got the Lawyers Guild sitting on the other side, and they're dismantling the entire country to the benefit of criminals. And here's what happens. They do this all the way up to the point where communism or Marxism is instituted in the United States, and then they back off and they basically go after everyone. And everyone becomes an institutional slave. That's the whole idea of globalism. So we have a guest. It is Gammy. All right, let's listen to Gammy. Gammy, what do you have to say about what we're talking about so far?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm sending a lot of hugs, everybody. I got a favor, Joe. I got a bunch of favors I want
Yeah, a
from
lot of
you.
people want
Unless
favors
you
from
want
me.
to
Talk
come
about
visit
the show, Gammy. Gammy, talk about the show.
It is for the show.
Okay,
It
hit
is
me.
for the show. I would like you to play my 3-minute, 40-some second Tina video sometime when you get a chance. You know, I know
Sure.
you have schedules, so it's no hurry. I've been listening, as you know, for 5 years, and when you bring people on like Trent Luce, we follow them, right? We follow them, and then we write letters and go to some of these commissioner meetings when they're stealing our land, because you brought up this whole business of taxes and how they calculate, which you know I'm in real estate. But the bottom line is, while we innocently try to be law-abiding citizens and still show up at meeting after meeting, we are being stolen. Our kids are being stolen. Under our noses right today, every school is still grooming children into gender affirmation. Every school is still doing things that the parents don't know about. Same thing you just said about Tina. Yesterday, I must have gotten that information on Tina to hundreds of people. I was exhausted from trying to get people to also write to POTUS, which I did and you did and everybody did. And I don't think
what's that
going to
what I mean, and this is what it comes down to, Gammy, is that, you know, we've got to work the problem. We keep waiting for someone to save us. And I think what I was trying to get to is that we said we just have to get President Trump back in office. Matter of fact, that you could go back and listen to Con Inc. I must have watched 50 videos. I went back and just said, you know, President Trump, you can do this on X, right? President Trump, campaign trail, and listen to videos of other people talking about what could happen if President Trump got back into office, that he would reset and fix things. And then the first thing out of the gate was a misstep by Pam Bondi to make President Trump look bad. That's what happened. And then you have the missteps with Kardashian Patel, who doesn't take care of the suspendables. And then you have the misstep that happened where they act like their fingers are broken, arms are broken, Mike Davis comes out and says, oh, you don't understand. Okay, I get it. We could drop 4 tons of bombs on our adversary, but we can't get a woman out after we just proved over and over and over again that the entire election system is bunk. We proved it. We prove it every day. You got mathematicians. So, Gammy, I guess my issue is that we keep doing, and we keep this hopium thing happening. And I'm sorry, man. I want President Trump to succeed. He's succeeding with Bobby Kennedy, Democrat. He's succeeding with Tulsi Gabbard, Democrat. And then you got Pam Bondi, long-term Republican, and that's going really well. Oh, let's talk about Marco Rubio. That's great. He was unanimously passed by the Democrats and the Republicans. Over 100 Biden-appointed ambassadors tendered their resignation when President Trump got in office. Over 70 of them are still there. He didn't even accept them. So, Gammy, square that with me. Square what we're dealing with reality.
I will. I can't argue with some of this because I see what you see.
Argue with the part you can argue with.
And it freaks me out. Wait a minute. Let me finish. You're interrupting an old lady when I have to get my thoughts out fast. Listen to me. I'm not arguing all of this because I see the discrepancies all over the place. And I mean, we've watched you for 5 years. You trained us. We go out and we talk to these people and say, you're full of crap, people. But it scares me that, like they said, oh, we're going to bring the USDA to Colorado, part of it, right? I don't want those idiots to come from D.C. to here. Leave them. Throw them in the ocean. We don't need more government, but it's still happening, and we're not getting enough. $1 trillion giving us back. I haven't seen anything in my checkbook, and it's tens and tens or hundreds of trillions they've stolen from us. So I'm a little leery, like you said, why all these grown-ass men can't get off their butts and get Tina out on some charge. The 8th Amendment, cruel and unusual punishment. The First Amendment, they could put her in protective custody for preserving federal election records. There's so much that could be done, and it's like you sometimes think you're talking to a fart in a skillet. You get nothing, and it is a little concerning. And why I keep going back to local. If it all doesn't go pretty, we better have our local crap together. Did we take first aid? Did we take training on the range? Do we know a few Krav Maga moves? So if we need whoop ass, we can do it. But it's all kind of creepy because we believe so much in this country. And we're supposed to behave, be good Christians, and don't hit anybody. Well, I'd be in jail for hitting somebody if they start doing more of this crap they're doing. But they're doing it right in front of your face. Right now, they are doing this to us, no matter how many videos Gammy does or letters that I send to everybody and his damn uncle. I know they might be laughing at me, but if I'm going down, baby, I'm going down standing up. And that's the thing that I think you take away from it. If we don't make more noise for Tina, then how are they going to know that people are watching? And my big fear is, what if they're going to use her the way they do anybody else they want to use to weaponize against us? That's what the fear thing is. No, don't speak up. Don't upset the school board while they rape your kids. At what point? I'm afraid I have too much inner jolt in my gut. And I get in lots of trouble when I get a little too feisty. But I think we're going to have to get way more feisty and fight harder. Because, if we have more parents show up.
Well, we don't have
any other way.
We have parents show up, but they, the problem is they conditioned us to get into the year just like they did in 2017. They did the same thing. And the Republicans did the same thing. I mean, look, the script is actually identical to 2017. Only, let me just tell you what we're actually facing. Gammy, thanks for calling in. I appreciate you very much. I'm gonna jump, but hey, God bless you. Thanks for watching us for 5 years. Thanks for all the work you do. You probably send more letters to people around the country than the auto pen did.
Thank you for that.
All right. God bless you.
God bless all of y'all.
All right. What was I talking about? What was I talking about? What was I talking about? Help me out. I need to collect my thoughts. All right. Oh yeah. So if you look back in 2017, it was identical. There was a deputy secretary of state position it took almost 3 years to get him into a position where he was accepted. Almost 3 years. So they have President Trump running around, handling all this stuff, having conversations, talking about what's happening in Russia, talking about what's happening in Tina. You can tell that they're wearing him down with all the things they're putting in front of him. And if I had to give President Trump any advice, it would be basically stop the bus. Stop the bus. Stop it completely. You know, you're shutting the government down. Does that mean that he gets to do all of his recess appointments? Go to the head of the Senate, the head of the House, and say, get rid of machines and mail-in ballots. But it's not done. Stop the bus and solve one problem that you know is fundamental to a thriving democratic republic. And that is get rid of machines, get rid of mail-in ballots. And look, I don't think you get anywhere with Pam Bondi or Todd Blanche. I don't think you get anywhere with either one of them. Todd Blanche has proven that, you know, something you guys should actually know. This is a really interesting deal. This came out today. We were just talking about Todd Blanche. And let's, you know, I don't usually play a bunch of stuff from there it is. From Alex Jones. But, you know, Alex Jones was railroaded. We had somebody that actually testified. If you want to know how lawless the society is, all you have to do is look at who they're putting back on the street and who they're putting in jail. They put Tina Peters in jail. They let out 3 pedophiles in the same courtroom in Mesa County, Colorado. True story. This just happened. You get probation, we lock up a 70-year-old woman that literally stood up for free and fair elections. But Todd Blanche, you know, everybody's like, oh, you know, we can't do anything about it. It's a state charge. You have proof of crimes that were committed. Sedition, treason. You know what they're doing. They're using NGOs. And I'm going to talk about a specific NGO in Colorado. So if you're here in Colorado, you're going to want to hear what I have to say next about this. You have a bunch of things that happened inside the elections that we proved. Now, the problem is that President Trump is not very good at tech either. He's just not. I mean, he's really good at tweeting, good at using his phone. But, I mean, I wouldn't put a computer in front of him and say, hey, listen, you got to do all these updates. And by the way, on top of these updates, you got to make sure that you connect all your accounts to this new computer. It never happens. He doesn't have to. He's on the throne. He has throne sniffers that can do that for him. He's never written an ounce of code. I mean, frankly, for how Devin Nunes, how he ran Truth Social, you know, he didn't really have a whole lot of knowledge about what it took to do tech either. That's just the truth. You can't keep up with guys that are in the tech business when you have large amounts of tech and infrastructure guys behind you that are just following the leader. Everything that's out there, by the way, is a recreation of what was already done by someone else on the radical left. True story. Truth Social is a social platform. It mimics, in large part, X. So now it's just whose football team do I play on? Is it a red football team or a blue football team? Is it the American team or is it not the American team? And he only did it because he was censored and shut out of anything to, you know, being able to use X or be able to use Facebook. That's why. That's why he did it. It wasn't because he wanted to run out and create some new technology. We've always fallen behind the TikTocracy that's actually been created by, in large part, you look at Facebook, that was created by who? Oh, that's right, DARPA. So we're not going to really get anywhere if the people that are in positions of power, you know, Pam Bondi came out in March of 2025 and said, we don't have data guys. Now, Mark Cook is out running around all over the country talking about hand count paper ballots. President Trump talks about hand count paper ballots. How much are they talking about that now? Who's getting rid of the election machine? because they've created so much chaos. Now, every day is going to be, I'm going to tell you right now what's going to happen. Every single day is going to be a new chaos point. Because right now, you can see it in President Trump. You can see it. He knows it's the paper ballots. He knows that Tina Peters shouldn't be in jail. And they parrot in his ear, you can't do anything, it's a state charge. He's like, did they not commit crimes? And if they committed a crime, then you should be able to get her out immediately. Is she a witness? Yes, great. Send the marshals to go get her. Or, really simple, send the military to go get her. Sign a document declaring a national emergency based on the fact that our election systems at every level are captured by radical leftists. This is not a political ideological difference. It's not political ideological difference. It's not. And for anybody to think it is, you'd have to be retarded. We're talking about the difference between right and wrong. Theft, liars, and an entire judiciary that is designed to steal the voice of the American people. It's designed that way. It's designed to make them slaves. In individual cases, when we talk about this individual case and this judge did this, but it's done over and over and over and over again. And President Trump was facing that problem, not one, not two, not three, but nearly a half a dozen cases against President Trump. And they never went his way until it went all the way up through the appeals court. But do you know who's actually still a judge? All the judges that ruled against him are still on the bench. All of them. You want to know why? Because the system is rotted to the core. I mean, and you can solve this problem. But you're going to have to say that law and order means that you have to get rid of the institutional rot. You have to start making hard decisions. And you know what, President Trump? You only got 3 years. You either want to save the country or you don't. But the people that you have in positions of power and trust right now that keep putting guardrails on you, they're putting guardrails on you because they are protecting the bad guys. It's a fraternity. You're not in it. And they tried really hard to destroy you in the 4 years that Biden was in office, fraudulently. And you turn around and you see what they're doing with, oh man, vaccines. I could have written the script. I could have written the script on what they were going to do. They walk over to President Trump and they're like, hey, listen, we think that Tylenol is causing autism. We think, and now the whole thing is ibuprofen. Ibuprofen is bad for you. It does all the stuff to your kidneys. Don't take ibuprofen. It's not good for anyone. True story. Just stay away from the vaccines and all the poisons and the heavy metals and everything they put in your body. We want to keep those in place. So the big pharma companies got together and said, hey, listen to me. So what we need to do is run President Trump off a cliff. So we need some school shootings. We need some radicals that we can, go after a Discord deal. Let's take out the number one faith leader in the entire country, Charlie Kirk, who talks to young people because he professed his love of Jesus. Let's do all that. And we know it's not true. We know it's not true. All right, let's talk about the government shutdown and then I want to talk to you about this organization in Colorado that is forcing kids in school to go to a counterterrorism event. Ann Schutz is funding it, by the way, as well as a bunch of other people. And I want you to go look at it. We're going to go through this first, but it's called thecell.org. Thecell.org. And it's a display in Colorado. Well, it's here in Colorado. I think it's somewhere else too. But they're getting high school and middle school kids to go to this deal. We're going to walk through the website here in a minute. But wait till you see what they're doing. Antifa doesn't show up anywhere in it. You know what does? Right-wing extremism. Parents that defy orders from the state. They have an entire thing up that talks about white people. It literally says white man on the back wall. Is it the white man that killed the 22-year-old girl whose dad has to bury his daughter because he would let out 39 times? Was it the white person that was running across the road with a gun in Pueblo, Colorado that went to do harm to somebody else? Was it the white man that brought a bunch of drugs into the United States, like fentanyl? Was that a white man too? I just want to be clear, it's the white man. And by the way, the cell.org, guess what? It's also a Jewish think tank. I'm not kidding. The cell.org, go check it out. But let's talk about this. Senator Kennedy, when in talking about the shutdown, says everything happens for a reason. But sometimes the reason is, well, I'll let him tell you. Go ahead and play it.
Everything happens for a reason, but sometimes the reason is you're stupid and you made a bad decision. And my Democratic colleagues have made a very, very bad decision here. I knew they were going to do this 2 weeks ago when they listed their demands. They're demanding, for example, that we not check people on Medicaid for eligibility by income. Just let anybody sign up who wants to sign up. They're demanding that we give free health care to foreign nationals who are in our country illegally. They're demanding that taxpayers pay for sex change operations. If you list all of their demands and add them up, it's between 1.2 and 1.5 trillion dollars. Now, they know it's an unserious proposal. They know we're not going to accept it. That tells me that this decision to shut down government is not based on policy, Rob, it's based on politics.
Based on policy is based on politics. What is it? And what do you notice about Kennedy, by the way? Besides the fact that he's 300 years old. Nonprofits and organizations like the ACLU and other organizations are designed to steal the voice of the people and to usher in this communist and Marxist ideology. They've got a deconstructed group of different organizations that basically work, which is a RICO violation, by the way. They work in this deal. The cell.org is one of them. And they talk in these hyperbolic, yeah, it's stupid, but you guys are all stupid. You've taken 56 cents off the dollar of every American. We live on less than half of your income. Everyone else is the enemy and everyone else is wrong and we're right. We can drop bombs on Iran. As long as Israel gets what they want, we can kill as many people of Gaza as possible, Palestinians as possible. It's actually the one thing that I agree with some of these people that are on the streets. When did genocide become like subjective to who it is? And is it even real? Oh, and let me just put this out there, right? If you can't talk about it, I'll say it again. If you can't talk about it, it's probably because they're doing really bad shit. And so the Jewish lobby, they're really bad. They're demonic. They're satanic. ACLU, satanic. ADL, Anti-Defamation League, absolutely satanic. Liars. Dominion voting systems, I mean, they're called Dominion, and they basically just got caught again. But not one person in the DOJ is actually taking care of that. Matter of fact, you got a case in Colorado that could put the sitting governor of Colorado, the sitting attorney general of Colorado, the secretary of state of Colorado, and chief judges, Supreme Court judges and judges inside the judiciary in prison for a long time. You have a case right now in Colorado with over $15 million in bribes. I mean, they took down the governor of Illinois. They could take down every single one of them in Colorado with this case. And the AUSA in Colorado, who's married to a Supreme Court justice, who's a part of this investigation, then passes and says, "Oh, I'm conflicted out." Hands it over to the AUSA in Wyoming, and AUSA in Wyoming is trying to find a way to dismiss the case and hide all the improprieties from the American people. True story. Maxine Waters wanted to talk about the government shutdown too. She sounds like a really legitimate person. Just listen to her.
Do Democrats want to prioritize the health care of illegal aliens over a government shutdown? Because if the government does shut down, American
Excuse me, stop it right there. We're not prioritizing What we're doing is saying simply we want to keep the government open, and we want to work with the Republicans and have a bipartisan agreement to keep this government open, and health care is at the top of our agenda.
But aren't Democrats demanding health care for illegal aliens?
Democrats are demanding health care for everybody. We want to save lives. We want to make sure that health care is available to those who would die, but having the help of their government.
So you're good with the government shutdown, even if it means giving health care to people who aren't American citizens?
Well, that's what you're pushing on. What you're trying to do is you're standing here and you're trying to make me say that somehow we're going to put non-citizens over Americans. Quit it. Stop it. This is the kind of journalism we don't need.
No, I'm just
you're
asking
divisive.
questions.
No, you're not.
Yeah, no,
you're being divisive. No, please. You don't need to ask that question. You're just trying to get controversy here. You're not going to get it from me. We want to save health care for all people. Thank you.
Thank you, Congresswoman. Appreciate it.
All right, so let me ask you a question. What did you notice about Maxine Waters? We want, hey, but people are the people. Everyone has it. If I talk like that, would you even listen to me? So how did this person get 25, 30 years and make $100 million? How did that person, dumber than a rock, how did that person get into Congress? How? What are we doing? I mean, I'm serious. Please tell me. Please tell me that Kardashian Patel, Bug-Eye Patel, is the best we got for the FBI director. Please tell me. A guy that basically has cash dollar signs behind him and runs a circuit and sits around trying to tell people how we're going to do so good by the FBI. I mean, you know what? Just flip it. Put Dan Bongino, at least put Dan Bongino as the FBI director. And tell Kash Patel to go, I don't know, play with himself or something. This is the best we got. Just answer the question. Just answer the question. Are you prioritizing illegals and saying that this is the hill to die on, illegals get health care, or we're shutting down the government? Answer the question. It's a yes or no question. You can't go to court and not answer the question. So why the hell can the person in Congress just lie to us? What? How is this even a thing? Okay, let's hear Rick Scott. I got to hear what he has to say. This is interesting because, by the way, Congress, you know, they're not going to get their paychecks and free health care for the shutdown. Ooh, for a couple of weeks, they got to be uncomfortable, bounce more checks, and maybe get a couple more DUIs. Go and play it.
September 30, I'm a business guy. I always pass budgets. And by the way, if you didn't do your job in business, you didn't get paid. You don't show up and do your job, you don't get paid. Why are we getting paid? We shouldn't get paid if we don't do our job. We need to figure out how to work together to get our budgets done. It's as simple as that.
So you're going to offer legislation to not get paid during shutdowns?
Absolutely. I already have a bill. We've got a bill that we don't get paid during the shutdown. Ron Johnson's got a bill that we'll never have shutdowns. That should pass also. But on top of that, what are the Democrats doing? This is a clean resolution. All we're doing is keeping the funding. Actually, the funding is too high. It's still the Biden funding. But I don't want to shut down government, so I support it. But the Democrats, they want to shut down for whatever reason. How is this good for the country? Nobody wins with a shutdown.
So I hear you. And what about people at home that aren't as politically engaged as you and I are?
Do we have the thing? Can we put it up here? By the way, I'm gonna flip back a little bit for a minute because I get tired of watching old people try and tell the American people how to do things when they've never had a balanced checkbook in their freaking lives. They spent 25 years there just doing the biddings of lobbyist groups and AIPAC. Yeah, they're all in on the take. Look, I'm sorry to be so honest with you, and I'm sorry that honesty is difficult to actually swallow and hear. But tell me which part of it I'm wrong. Matter of fact, you can call up. Go ahead, put it up there. You can call up here and tell me I'm wrong. I want somebody to call up and tell me I'm wrong. Just tell me I'm wrong. Tell me why I'm wrong, and I will admonish myself. And I promise you, yeah. So sorry, system's back up. Do you have the thing about Alex Jones? Can you put that up, please? Can you watch that video? No, I just want the first part of it. I want the top of it too. Just put up the thing so I can play that. We'll listen to as much Alex Jones as we can get in here without, going too Alex Jonesy. Let me read the top of it, if you would, please. Top of the tweet. Top of the tweet. Here, I'll read it. I got it. I got you. You do? All right, there's that, but it's not on the screen. All right, First Amendment bombshell. Federal judge greenlights the shutdown of Alex Jones' InfoWars as early as tomorrow, just 5 days after Deputy AG Todd Blanche killed the government weaponization task force leader Ed Martin's investigation into the Biden administration's documented DOJ-led attempts to close InfoWars. The pro-Trump media juggernaut faces imminent closure. Alex Jones calls on President Trump to take immediate action to correct this outrageous deep state mafia operation. All right, we'll listen to a couple minutes of him. He's on, go ahead, put it up real quick. Let's play it a little bit.
Lopez would never be part of the fraud they brought him. But at the end of the day, like Pontius Pilate, he said, I'll give you what you want, and signed off on it today, which my lawyers thought. I mean, their filing is so horrible. It's all their quotes and admissions. We don't want money. We want to shut him down. This is political. Ha, ha, ha. Yeah, we rigged we deposed him, and they said, yeah, we rigged the auction. We don't want you to have it. That's fraud. That's criminal. But listen, the DOJ is still investigating. You think you got that killed? Think again. You wait till your little deputy AGs. Okay, we knew we were thinking way ahead of that. Thanks for showing yourself. Just a little more weight. We're getting close. But the civil stuff.
They weaponize the system against every single person that has stood up and stood out. And Tina Peters included. Tina Peters is in jail now for 1 year. If you're just joining us, 1 year, and we can bomb Iran. We can, we can do anything we want around the world. We can create, just give billions of dollars to whatever. You got a server that allows you to send money whoever you want. I could use a couple $1 billion. Go ahead and send it to me. But we can't get Tina Peters out of jail on what is an absolute corrupt and captured government of Colorado. You just can't do anything about it. Think about how that sounds. Sounds a little absurd. Okay, now skip back to what we were talking about before. We have a government shutdown right now, and Carolyn Levitt's voicemail on her White House line because of the shutdown is pretty epic. Let's go ahead and play it.
Call it.
Thank you for calling the White House comment line.
Hello, America. This is White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt. Democrats in Congress have shut down the federal government because they care more about funding health care for illegal immigrants than they care about serving you, the American people. Until Democrats vote for the clean, Republican-backed continuing resolution to reopen the government, the White House is unable to answer your call or respond to your questions. We look forward to hearing from you again very soon. And in the meantime, please know President Trump will never stop fighting for you. Thank you, and God bless you.
Kind of stop fighting because you have people in the way, Judases and Brutuses. And here's the bad part about it is that we keep waiting, and there's just got to be people that get around President Trump that are warriors, that understand strategy. People like Bob Destro. I mean, I don't know where he is in the mix, but President Trump, I'd make a recommendation that Bob Destro, who worked in the Secretary of State's office, you take a chance on him. I think you need to look under the hood of Marco Rubio. I think here's a problem. You got to ask yourself questions. Why? Why has the House and the Senate not recessed so that you can put your appointments in place so that you can actually get moving? Why? Why is the apparatus of our government that you have being used against you? Hey, we do have a guest, or excuse me, we do have a caller that's calling in right now. Why did you switch cameras? All right, let's go ahead and bring whoever's on. I think it's Ruth Forehand. Ruth, welcome to the show.
Hi, how are you, Joe?
I'm good. How are you?
I am fabulous. Fellow Texan here.
All
San
right.
Antonio, Bexar County, Texan.
Oh, so tell everyone about Bexar County, because when you're not from Bexar County, you make the mistake, don't you? Is there a mistake that you make? And everyone looks at you strange, like go back to where you came from?
Yeah, well, I'm a transplant. I didn't move here until 2008. I'm originally from the Gulf Coast of Alabama. So, yeah, they do look at me strange. And people mistakenly think that Texas is red. It's red except in pockets. And the pockets are Dallas, Houston, Austin, and unfortunately, San Antonio.
Yeah, but San Antonio has good Democrats. You have to admit, they're actually really nice. They're Democrats only because they're confused. Because I've met a lot of them, and they're not so confused. I mean, they're not so bad.
We've also got our share of rhinos.
Do we? All right. So tell everyone about Bexar County. Yeah. It's spelled how?
Bexar. So if you were Spanish, it would be Bexar.
Bexar. And if you were just anyone else coming from another state and you walk in to get something and you say those fateful words where they're like, oh, yep, he's new.
Yeah, it would be Bexar.
Bexar. I made that mistake several times. They said Bexar County, and I was like, Bear. I'm not in Bear. I'm in Bexar County. They're like, no, you're in Bexar County. I was like, I'm telling you, we're not. We're in Bexar County.
And they actually let you stay with that mistake?
Yeah, barely. So what do you think about what we're talking about?
Barely. I am so grateful to be able to tell you this in person. I have watched you probably 4 years. I have cried watching you almost break down under the pressure that you voluntarily picked up and put on your broad shoulders. And I wanted to tell you that there were times that if it hadn't been for your program and if it hadn't been for your relentless pursuit of the truth, I might have been standing on the edge of that cliff with you. So I wanted to give you the encouragement and tell you, keep with the good fight. I'm so heartbroken at what's happened to you, but you've got more integrity in your little finger than a room full of most men in this country.
Well, I hope there's more men that have some integrity that we can kind of point to.
Doc Pete Chambers, and God willing, we will have a chance to give him leadership reins in Texas next year.
Yeah. Well, I just want to say thank you.
You're welcome.
Calling me and telling me that. That was... You know, it's hard to take as many punches as you take and do so and not feel like you're, I don't know how to explain it. Like you're not, like it's not worth it.
I know. I know. I'm a small business, self-employed business owner who lived through all of the craziness in Bexar County with our county judge and our then mayor going out and playing golf, even though the golf courses were shut down, and me having to tell my staff, let me open the door if somebody comes and knocks on the door, because we're legal to stay open in 3 different levels. So you just go in your office and let me deal with it. Fortunately, it never came to any of that. So yes, I have been in the fire, not the volcanic fire you've been in, but I understand. And I have a suggestion. It's real simple how we deal with this health insurance thing for people like Maxine Waters who want to be bleeding hearts. And I actually share this when people ask. Everybody should be giving charitable donations. If you feel that badly for people who were here, whether they were invited or not, nothing is stopping you from paying for their health care out of your own pocket. Problem solved. Get your damn hands out of my pocket. I have my own list of charities, but anybody else who feels these people need health care paid for, nothing is stopping you from going and adopting them and paying their bills.
Yeah, the bad part is that they don't want to take money out of their own pocket. They want to stuff their faces with what food is on your table, not their own table.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And it as we say this, it's hard because we're Americans, right? So we're a very giving society. Like, we give a lot. But now they've taken too much meat off the bone and haven't left us anything. And made it so that we don't have a voice. So now if you don't have a voice and you don't have the ability to have any sort of, the judiciary, judges can do whatever they want. The police can do whatever they want. People can lie with impunity, and they're rewarded for it while they basically are able to step on the bodies of Americans inside the streets in our communities. I mean, you see it in the education process. You see it in everything. Let me ask you a question. Can you call up the people that do your water bill? I know, because San Antonio is really bad about water. Can you call them up and say, hey, my bill's $215. I want to negotiate that. I think I didn't use that much water. I'm only going to give you $100. Can you do that?
No, it's actually worse than that. And I can give you an example from a couple of clients that I had to walk back from the cliff. So in Bexar and I believe Kendall counties, they now have these electronic systems. So people don't even come read your meter. They know when you turn on your sprinkler at 4 a.m, they claim that they've driven by your house. Wrong. I've never seen a government employee get out of bed, much less show up at work before 8 or 9 in the morning, much less 4. They will track when you turn on your water now. They will fine you for overwatering during drought. When you go to court to try to argue it, they will tell you, no, we know exactly when you turned it on. You were metered to turn on your water on Tuesday at 7 a.m. We know for a fact you watered Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 4. And it's because people agreed to let these smart meters go in. And I railed and railed and railed against it and said, this is not going to end well. You don't want to do this. And it happened, and I actually had 2 of my clients be called into court. And not only were they charged the excess water, but they were fined for violating drought restrictions because they were on smart meters and they got caught watering.
So I got hit with the same bill. We had a pool in the backyard in San Antonio, and they sent me a bill for $1,100. I was like, wait, what?
Yep.
Get out of here. Yep. I said my pool had to be refilled. They're like, oh, okay,
Joe,
we'll take $500.
You're admitting on air that you allowed a smart meter to be put in? Come on.
No, I don't have a smart meter. I don't have a smart meter. And if I do, I don't know I have a smart meter.
You had something for them to know.
Yeah, so I got to figure that out. I got to take that out because there's no way I'm going to have a smart meter. I'll smash it.
You need to check. I bet you dimes to donuts you've got a smart meter.
Man, it bothers me so much because, man, I need this. I'm going to, when I get back there, I'm going to smash it. I'm going to smash it and tell them it's broken. make them come out and fix it. I guess I just said that on the air too. Now I'll just tell them to take it out.
Well, you'll have to come on the show and you'll have to say what happened with the fines when they find out that you, God forbid, damaged government property.
Is that what well, they own the house anyway, right? I mean, they own everything. I don't know the house, but I mean, no matter where you turn, they take whatever they want. That's my whole point. My point is when you take away the levers of men and women feeling like they're a part of something, right? Then it becomes impossible for you to not want to fight. Like, that's where wars start, and we're on the precipice of it right now. We're on the precipice of fighting. Why live in a place where you're a slave? Nobody wants to live that way.
You get worn down. What I see on your face from time to time is 5 years of psyop grind that you've lived through. And that's it's making everybody short-tempered. It's making everybody jump at their neighbors' throats when, before they would sit down and have a beer or a glass of wine with them. I want to work this problem with you, though, on the air. So help me understand this. So the young lady who was murdered in South Carolina, the young lady God bless her, she came here legally from Ukraine, was trying to make a good living. She doesn't have a living in her own country anymore in North Carolina. Both those cases, the people who went after those women were known criminals with very publicized long records.
Yes.
What the hell with the attorneys who represented them, and how do we square as a country feeling, well, everybody is entitled to a defense and everybody is entitled to be proven innocent until guilty, except Tina Peters. But how do we square that? How do we square that there are attorneys who were known, they're known in the city, everybody knows who they are, they know who they represent, they don't necessarily represent upstanding citizens, they follow the money 9 times out of 10. How do we square saying those men deserve access to a fair trial and to be proven innocent until guilty, but everybody knows what their track record was, and the person in South Carolina should have been locked up for 144 years just for the felony convictions? Help me work that problem.
Well, so have you ever heard of the boomerang effect? You ever heard of that?
Yep.
So what you do is you unleash hell. This is, by the way, a communist ideology. It is in nearly every textbook of strategy that's out there when it comes to infiltration and the development of communist ideologies and taking over communities. The overall view or ethos of a country like the United States is that we're run under the concept of be a good person, like law-abiding. We have different standards, and we even have a different way that we measure the value of life. Like if you were to go to many countries, let's say that you were a poacher, and you were trying to poach, they would line you up outside in the middle of the bush. They would look at you, boom, put a bullet in you, and leave you there for the animals to eat. That's how they deal with poachers. Okay, no value of human life. It doesn't matter, good person, bad person. They're judging you right there for what you did, and you are going to pay for it, right? In
Well,
America,
from the animal's viewpoint, that's called justice.
Yeah, but no, it is. It is, but I think that's my point, right? Is that when we look at the United States, we look at it from the standpoint that we used to have this tolerance, this no tolerance for crime. And we've seen the boomerang effect happen where it goes around in a circle where you throw it out there, you let bad stuff happen, and then all of a sudden when it comes back, the boomerang is bigger, right? And so in New York City, you had the stop and frisk rule that Giuliani put in place, and New York became a safe place, right? Almost overnight. Now, gentrification happens, people moved into the community, and then they unleashed hell on the people again. They basically said, we're going to let people out because we want to be good. We want to take care of people because, slavery 200 years ago. And so what happens, and you can go back and look at history. You can look at this happening everywhere. Matter of fact, a perfect indication of this will be the lies that were told in World War II in Germany, and whether or not we're talking about, the Nazis and who was actually their ally. Well, we were their ally. I mean, we're just so you're clear. And there's a lot of people that died as a result of the allies that have in this same book. It is the same program. It is the same playbook. We know where this heads next, right? But in order to destroy society, you have to justify the use of inhumane treatment. You have to justify it. And on the Biden regime, I'll just use as an example, they put 1,600 Americans in the gulag and let them live in subhuman conditions. And, sans a couple of people saying this is what happened, they were beaten, they were raped. Do you think anybody had to pay?
They were denied medicine.
Right. I mean, they were basically treated like animals, right? And nobody said a word. And the people that did say a word were just hushed out the door by the DOJ, just get out, get out, get out, get out. So they pick and choose winners and losers, and they go after good people because good people are what allows this evil to thrive, because chaos favors the op, doesn't favor the people. So by them doing this thing, by letting guys out 25, 30, 35 times, 40 times, it degrades society to a place where it allows for people to become fatigued, right? Like even like me, like I'm fatigued. People are fatigued. Now my fatigue's a little different. I just want to go straight to war, right? I don't want to live in a place where
You want to punch someone.
yeah, I do. And frankly, I'm not a violent person. I've never been a violent person. I've helped more people than I could tell you. And I don't say that to brag, but I mean I've affected the lives of people, like men that served 10 years of a 20-year sentence. I went into the car and I broke his rearview mirror off. And I was like, tell me what's behind it. And he's like, I can't see anymore. I was like, that's exactly the way it should be. Keep your eyes forward, your head up, and that is you. That future is yours. What's back there, you need to leave it back there. So, you know, I'm all for forgiveness, and I don't want violence. But this violence on the community will then re-justify the boomerang to come back with a vengeance, and then they'll be able to meld in all their political adversaries like they did in 2021. Same thing's going to happen again, right? This is the art of war. This is the art of how you usher in Satan. And by the way, if I'm wrong, it's written in the Talmud. It's written in the, what is it, the Satanic Rule Book or whatever that book is. I can only read a certain portion of it before I had to put it down. This is what they want. They want what we're going through right now, so they can erode good people's ability to fight back, because you just become too fatigued and you become hopeless, right? Happened in Russia, happened in Czechoslovakia, happened in Serbia. Serbian people, I mean, and I thought that they were just rude and just shitty people. Turns out most people that go over there run into really shitty people. Like there's a large majority of people there, they're just not good people, right? And it's because their society has been run down, right? Evil has prevailed.
And it happened in France.
It happened in France.
I mean, everybody thinks it was horrible seeing all the leaders with their heads chopped off. But to get to that point, you can only imagine how beaten down the people were. I don't want to take up all your time, but I do want to leave you with this. Hopefully you can find some comfort in this. I thought it was a brilliant piece of wisdom from a visiting priest 2 Sundays ago. Talking about Charlie Kirk, he said, the government is responsible for executing God's justice.
Yes.
The church is responsible for extending God's grace.
Man, that's so powerful.
That message was for you, my friend.
Thank you, Ruth. God bless you. Thanks for calling in.
Have a great day.
You too. Wow. I was going to take a commercial break, but I was 20 minutes late. So I'll just say this. We have some good sponsors that are coming in. And obviously DCF's a sponsor. And you can get some special discounts at DCF. Go to dcfguns.com. We have Goldco, and I just want to report something to you that I think is important at Goldco. The gold spot rate right now, cut price, since we actually talked about this before, is $3,875. Since they became a sponsor of us, gold price has gone up. It looks like about 25%, 20%, 15% in the last 3 months, 16% in the last 3 months. And since the beginning of the year, it's gone up 46%. So something to pay attention to. You can go to untamedgold.com. Just give them a shot. Have them send you something in the mail. Even if you actually just go buy gold and buy silver. Silver is much more palatable. You say, well, you know, some of you can afford to, some of you can't afford to. But I would just say to hedge your bets and to put a little bit of that money away. You can buy silver for, I think it's $40 or $42 an ounce. Have them send you some coins. Spend a couple $100 a month. Because I actually think silver is going to go $200 an ounce. I think it's a even better buy than even gold, frankly, and that's where I'm investing money in it, just because I know I can hold on to it. So you can call them up, but you can call 844-960 4653 and check them out. So Goldco, thanks for. We've got a couple of other things that I think you're going to be really happy with our sponsors. We're going to try and make it so that we have just a list of sponsors. We'll put it on the website, and you have the ability to do business with good businesses. I also want to encourage you as we go through this process that we're going to try and create an environment where we can bring broadcasters, truth tellers, journalists together. I don't know what that looks like yet. We've been working on it for quite some time. But even people like Tucker Carlson are having trouble with this idea that we have to be ad-driven by advertisers. It's difficult for you when you're listening to us, right? So you're listening to us and we're saying, hey, just go over there and buy my pillow, da 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 da. And you're going, yeah, I can only buy so many pillows. And so it fatigues out. And so what we're trying to do is build something that doesn't put a lot of pressure on you. It just talks to you about, how do we support each other? How do we do this broadcast and have people that work for us and do the things that they do, and still feel like we're creating value for people that are our partners. And so I think that's something to consider and something we're looking into at just a smaller amount, and maybe building a catalog of, if you're going to do business, it's the same concept of something. Let's hypothetically say you want to buy something on Amazon, and you can get it, but it takes an extra day to get there. Would you spend the extra day or 2 days to get the product rather than go through Amazon and make sure that you support a good business as long as you get good rate? We're going to try and connect ourselves with a mortgage company that is a faith-based mortgage company, and I'm trying to create some rules right now to our advertisers. And I normally haven't done this, but I'm just trying to square it. I'm trying to square the 2 hours a day that I spend in the morning preparing for this, the hours that they spend making sure that we can have this conversation of encouragement. I really am, I feel really fortunate to get a call like I just got from Ruth, because it does remind me of why I do what I do. But I want to get, people that are people that like you that are out there that work in businesses. And I want to find ways to create sponsorships where I can, I don't know, I used to wear the Under Armour, and I talked a little bit about this. Well, what if I could find someone that does what Under Armour does, but it's one of us, right? It's one of us that I can support that's a mid-cap business. And it's like we do for the shirts when they get made. And the same can be said for, other stuff that we buy. I wish I could find a car manufacturer or a dealer. I don't even know, even like a dealership. Would you buy your cars all from one person if it was in I don't know, Florida? If they gave you a great price and took great care of you and shipped it to your house? I don't know. But I am trying to develop something where we build a community, right? So we have a fraternity together and we can do those things. So can you guys do something for me real quick, Austin? Can you put up thecell.org? And I want to just be able to navigate this with you. So I want you guys to pay attention a little bit to this. Super important for me, for you to listen to this. Now, I have a friend whose daughter was going to a field trip. And so she's like, hey, have you heard of this thing? It's called the New Cell Exhibit. It's an educational, inspiring, and empowering. You can see it up there now, right? And she goes, have you heard of this? And I was like, no, I haven't heard of it. Let me do some digging for you. Because, parents are a little, they have a little bit of trepidation, right? About all the kind of things that are happening. And so if you guys will go, let me see if I can get to the place where you can go in here real quick. Let's see if I can find it on the site. It was really bad. So I started doing all the research, and if you go to exhibits at the very bottom, just all the way. Oh, stop. Go up a little bit, up a little bit, up a little bit. All right, right there. Can you hone in on that right picture or the left picture? There's a vitriol and violence. You see that? All right. So I need you to know that if you're in Colorado, this thing that they have for education, And we're going to talk about the people that actually run it. But it is designed to hate white people. It's designed to make right-wing extremism that doesn't exist. Right? There wasn't right-wing extremism that actually shot Charlie Kirk. There wasn't right-wing extremism that looked for grooming of children and cutting off the penises of little boys and doing what Netflix is doing, which we're going to get to in a minute. They have an entire display bent on attacking white people. End stop. It is the most racist, and the cell.org is run by, guess who else is invested in it? You have ADL, Anti-Defamation League. You have the ACLU, which is there to just kind of prop up these radical leftist ideologies. This entire thing that they have going on, the cell.org, they're now going to every class and every school, and they're saying, you need to run your kids through here. It is run by a bunch of radical leftists. So much so that when you go in and look at the people and you start doing research on the team of the cell staff, it becomes really, really easy to figure out who they are. So I went through all the different people that are on the list. You got an illegal there. You got and if you just go look, can you go to that page, please? Go to the team page. It's basically a radical leftist organization. Radical left. Let's talk about who Melanie is. Melanie manages the administration, programming, and strategic planning for the Mizzle Institute's two centers, the Mizzle Museum and the Cell. Now, any idea who the Mizzle Museum is? Oh, no, yeah. It is, let me just tell you about this deal, okay? The Mizzle Museum and the Cell. Been with the Institute since 2008. Melanie's vast accomplishments include receiving the FBI Director's 2012 Community Leadership Award and being named one of Denver Business Journal's top 40 under 40. Melanie received her MA from International Management and Foreign Affairs from the Thunderberg School of Global Management. Okay, you ready? You ready for this? The Mizzle Museum is what? What do you think it is? Go to Mizzle Museum or Mizzle Museum. And let me just tell you what you see. If you have, and by the way, we're going to go on every social account and we're going to talk about this specifically. The cell.org is nothing more than AIPAC on steroids. It literally is an anti-white, racist organization that is designed to destroy and degrade the community and turn your kids into these radical leftists. Go ahead and go to the MizzleMuseum.org. There you go. So this person who runs this deal, laundering money, is the Mizzle Museum is social justice, Holocaust education, and contemporary Jewish culture. Let me ask you a question. Why in the world do we have radical leftists that can come into our community and put this stuff together to indoctrinate our children? And we put up with it. And our tax dollars in Colorado went towards this. So they built an entire thing called the cell.org. It's a whole thing based on the Mizzle Museum, which its entire thing is to tell you that Jewish people are the chosen people and the rest of you are shit. True story. Thecell.org. Go check it out. And if you're in Colorado, don't check it out. Don't send your kids there. This should not even exist. The Mizzle Museum should not exist, and this shouldn't exist. Listen, the Holocaust happened over in Germany. Go set up your shit over there. And that's not anti-Jewish. Nobody in this country did anything to you. We didn't do anything to you. You walk around acting as if, oh yeah, and you have these videos out there like we're special. You're not special. The only thing you've done is take it from the American people and said, the American people are slaves. They're dogs. By the way, let's get black people to kill all their kids. Let's bring a bunch of illegals in here and let's try to kill white people. That's what they want to do. They want to eliminate white people. And we got to act like that's like a normal thing. It's normal to kill white people and to have liberal white people. Oh, that's right. I totally forgot. I forgot. I'm sorry I forgot. Jewish people aren't white. Their DNA is different. I got to tell you something. If you're German, your DNA is different. If you're Italian, your DNA is different. If you're Polish, your DNA is different. If you're Russian, your DNA is different. You don't get to walk around and destroy the community and lie with impunity and then run it through as if this is the way it is. Build your own new sidewalks. And then you walk around saying you're anti-Semitic. Who is the hate group? The Cell.org is the hate group. The Meisel Museum is the hate group. These radical leftist Jews that aren't Jews, they're Jewish, these atheist Satanists, that's the hate group. ADL, the Anti-Defamation League, hate group. ACLU, hate group. The, what is it, the legal, what is it called? The legal squires or whatever. Hate group. These are hate groups. They want to put criminals out on the street, boomerang, bring it back, and then when they come back, they'll just wipe out all the people that are out there fighting for free rights. They admit it. They say it out loud. You have the Talmud Institute in the Talmud Institute in New York. Their entire structure of the organization is designed to teach people there that everyone else that is in society is underneath you. They're dogs, black, white, it doesn't matter. And by the way, we're not white. We're our own race. We're superior. What does that sound like? Doesn't it sound like Hitler? Doesn't what they're saying sound like Hitler? Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me if what they're saying is any different than what Hitler did. We want to eliminate white people. We want to eliminate black babies. We want to do it under the guise that we're actually trying to help you. And we want to make sure that you hate white people. Oh, yeah, Jews weren't here, like back when there was slavery. Yes, we need to. Yes, they were. Yes, they were. But the whole thing is about kabuki theater. It's about lying to people. That's why we can't help Tina Peters. TheCell.org, go check it out. Send them some nice mail. It's directly connected to this radical leftist ideology, and Colorado is captured. Threats to U.S. security. And guess what? If you go through and you read through this stuff, it is all about white people and conservatives. Let's go to the next one. This is Cherry Creek School District. This is in Cherry Creek. This used to be one of the top school districts out there. Captured by radical leftist ideology using, again, when you steal elections and you do, if you were to take away elections from the radical left, if you were to take that away, and you had free and fair elections on paper, in person, and you got rid of the judges that made bad decisions, you just literally go in and just fire them all. All right, you made an ideological decision, you got to get out. And if it doesn't happen this way, by the way, we are going to have war. We are. Because most people are just tired of it. And I'm talking most independents, most Democrats, and most Republicans. They've all had it. They've had it with this evil that has consumed our community. But let's go ahead and play this. Look at this tweet. This is unbelievable. Cherry Creek School District. Our collective commitment. This is a middle school commitment. This is a middle school commitment inside of a school district designed to literally make white kids feel as if they don't belong anywhere. Our collective commitment at middle school leaders is to examine and deepen our understanding of race and the impact that it has on our students and within our school communities. We commit to interrupt the role and presence of whiteness as we identify and disrupt biases and the marginalization of students. We will foster and engage an authentic relationship to ensure high level learning from every student, especially the success of our black, brown, and indigenous students. Whiteness. You should feel guilty because you're white. You should feel guilty because you're successful. You should feel guilty because you're white. It's racism. This is the racism of this class of APAC demons inside of our country. Every single LGBTQ, whatever it is, organization that preaches the grooming of children, which they all do, is run by radical, leftist, atheist Jews. Oh, and they're going to be like, Joe, you're a racist. You're a bigot. You're an anti-Semite. No, I'm not. Stop being evil. Just stop being evil. You know what? Better yet, just hand it over to the Hasidic Jews. Hand it all over to them. Just hand it to them. You hand it to them. They're good people. They love God. Right? Hand it to them. And see how much they act the way you radical clowns have acted. They own Hollywood. They own, which I'm going to get to that in a minute too. This is Gene Hamilton, head of the school First Legal. This is share about the same Cherry Creek School District ruling from Patrick's case. Patrick, where are you right now? So yesterday, get your ass in here. Yesterday, a federal judge dismissed our client's case. Stay tuned for more info on this front, but I'm going to have this excerpt out there without any additional comments. So this is your judge.
Yes, Judge
correct?
Rodriguez.
Huh?
Judge Rodriguez.
But Gene Hamilton's your attorney?
No, Ian Pryor is my attorney. Gene Hamilton is the founder of the AFL, and he works in the Trump White House.
Okay. So this is okay, so tell me about this case in particular. Is this your case?
This is specifically my case. We filed this.
Can you turn his on, please, his mic on? All right, talk again.
You got me?
No, not yet. All right, now talk.
You guys got me?
No, do it. That's not it either. Next one. Move to the next one. Test, test. Mine works.
Austin, you got me?
Just hold it up. Just hold it up and talk like this. Yeah, you can.
All right.
Yeah, his isn't working. That's not working. Pick up on one of the other ones. All right, let's do that. That one works.
Test, test.
Yeah, that works. Turn the other ones off. Leave that one on. Leave mine on and his on. So we're checking these new mics. Oh my gosh. Now you have, it's like super echo. All right, fix it. There we go. All right, now track.
All right. Are we good, Austin?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, so this is your case. Put the case up if you would, this highlighted part. All right.
So yeah, this was actually written by Judge Rodriguez in the ruling. If you could see that, the district has a role in preparing students to create a better tomorrow and certainly has a legitimate interest in promoting equity within the district. The court finds that part of this is acknowledging what people of color go through and recognizing that systemic racism in the United States, both of which plaintiff refused to do so. So yeah, Judge Rodriguez is saying the Cherry Creek School District had the right to terminate my position because of this equity training I'm in, and I have no right to, I have no legal recourse, according to Judge Rodriguez.
And he dismissed the case.
Yes.
She dismissed the case.
With prejudice, yes.
So she dismissed the case because of the fact that you were fighting for the ability to say that, look, I don't care if you're green, yellow, purple, I'm going to treat you all the same.
Yes.
And at that point, you weren't acknowledging your whiteness.
No, correct. No, I acknowledged it as being an American, the greatest country ever founded, and somehow it snowballed into me having to go to federal court.
All right. What's the microphone? Oh, the microphone is in your ear. The mic, that's the mic. That's the mic.
Are you for real?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Hey guys.
Okay. All right. I'm glad we got that figured out. I was going to say something and I was like, forget it. forget it.
I can't hear anybody.
Okay.
All right. Fair enough.
So Patrick is our, he's our production director. What do they call it? They call you production director.
Producer, content creator, cleanup guy, whatever needs to be done.
He does a bunch of stuff. Patrick was the dean. We're kind of getting into it, but you were the dean.
Can.
Tell everyone a little bit about yourself.
Great. Hi, guys. I co-hosted a couple weeks ago. Glad to be back. I was a dean at Campus Middle School from 2021 through 2024. In January of 2024, I had to take a mandatory district equity training that I was a part of. In that training...
We can hear you, Austin. Go ahead.
In that training, I was asked by the Director of Equity, Ron Garcia E. Ortiz, about how I identify, like whiteness, what makes my ethnicity. And I said what I felt, which was I'm an American. I have Irish descent and I have different things in me, but I've never been over into Europe, never been to Ireland. I'm an American, born here, raised here. So that's what I am, and that's what I identified as. But I identified as a proud American that loved this country. That apparently made him extremely angry and upset to the point where I lost my job over it. And I have America First Legal as my legal team. Ian Pryor is one of my attorneys. We had a call actually this morning talking about this craziness. We will be handling this. This is not where it's going to end. This will be escalating up. I lost my job in March of 24. I was told that I am no longer needed at Campus Middle School because of budgetary reasons. The director of HR, Miss Courtney Smith, I hope they hear all this. Hi, Courtney. Good to see you again. Courtney Smith told me that they needed to cut my position from Campus Middle School because of budgetary concerns, which was not true. It turned out to be because there is public records of Cherry Creek and Campus Middle School's budget, and there was no FTE decrease. There was no reduction in school budget. So they fired me for it, lied to me about it, lied to the community about it, lied to my coworkers about it, lied to my students about it, said all different types of things about, Pat found out he wasn't going to be here, so he decided to do other things. Oh, I can't talk about Pat's behavior, right? All that stuff is out there. All that stuff was said. They all lied about it. Cherry Creek School District lied across the board. They didn't have the balls to say it to my face because they know they can't. They know they can't say it to my face that, hey, I'm firing you for being a proud American, because they know that would be everywhere, all across the board.
Let me ask you a question.
Sure, Joe. Sorry.
Do you think, no, it's good. Do you think that judges should have the ability to make a decision on who should or should not be protected? I mean, do you think that they should be able to do what they did in this deal? I don't know how to say it. I mean, do you think that they should be able to implement Marxist, communist ideologies and ignore the Constitution and the rule of law?
No, but they do.
They do all the time.
They do. Like, all honesty, guys, my side did not even get into the courtroom to have a hearing on this. I didn't even get my 20 minutes in court with my attorneys to have oral arguments about whether or not this case could even move forward. We didn't get that chance whatsoever. It is boom, you have no rights here, out you go. Boom, you have no rights here, out you go. Equity rules, free speech dies in public schools. End of story. And we're not letting this go. We're going to keep fighting for this. It's the right thing to do. It needs to be done. The public school system has been hijacked by these equity retards. That's the truth of it. It's been hijacked by these equity retards that are out there in the school systems, purging the school systems of actual people that love this country, that want to help kids succeed, but are considered a threat because they love this country. In order to be a public school teacher in the state of Colorado, you must acknowledge, and this is written by a federal judge now, a federal judge has signed off on this. This is extremely important to anyone in Colorado that knows a teacher, anyone that works for Cherry Creek School District. Cherry Creek School District now knows they have the green light to fire anybody they want, They could lie about why they will fire you, and the court system will uphold it for them. Because we mentioned that to Magistrate Judge Valhalic and Judge Rodriguez, that Cherry Creek School District knowingly lied about why they fired me, and both judges said basically it's okay. It's okay that they lied because they're operating in the better good to make sure you dangerous guy, you dangerous pro-American who loves this country, you have no more rights to help and work with kids. And that's how I'm here.
Yeah, so this is where it gets into the fact that they just admitted that they fired you for it. The judge admitted it.
Yeah.
And then said that you failed to follow their...
I didn't denounce racism, so I was okay to be fired.
You did not denounce racism.
I was never asked. I just said I love this country, and everything else is being inferred. There is not one time I was ever asked by Ron, by Lissa Stahl, the principal of Campus Middle School, by Courtney Smith, the director of HR, by Chris Smith, the superintendent of Cherry Creek School District. I was never asked, is America a systemically racist country? I was never asked to describe or accept what people of color go through. Never asked those things, but it's all over my legal documents that I am guilty of this. They cannot produce evidence of it because it did not happen. But somehow this is still being written in court paperwork, and the district is doubling down on this. So if you're a parent in Cherry Creek School District, no. They are lying to you when they say equity is about furthering conversation, about creating safe learning environments, about making sure we all can speak out truths. They are lying to you. Straight up communist bastards. They are liars. Every one of them. And they need to go.
But let's see, this is where we get into, no, you have every right.
Dude, they took away my livelihood, 17 years. 17 years in the school system. Loved kids. Loved working with them. It was my passion. I like this now too, don't get me wrong. But I loved working with kids.
And he's good at it. You're good at whatever you do, which is really awesome. Like you just stepped right in.
I tried, man.
Yeah, we sat down at lunch and I was like, yeah, he's in.
I appreciate it, man. It changed my life. I really do. Like it offered a life raft to my wife and me, and like we can't be any more grateful. Like, guys, Joe's the shit. Like, took a shot off me. I'm a hard worker. He didn't know any better. He just knew my name and story. Had lunch with me. He goes, come join the team. I'm like, hell yeah, I'm coming. Appreciate it, man. Really do.
Yeah. Well, thanks for being in the fight. Thanks for continuing the fight. I figured I'd just bring you in and make it so that you could hear it directly from you.
All good. And I got the green light. We could talk more. So
awesome. Well, let's do more. We're going to do a show next week, and we're going to walk through directly all of this next week with Patrick. So stay tuned for that. Thanks, Patrick.
You got it.
So let me. I want to play this if we can. This is a white student from Cherry Creek School District that shares her experience. This just shows you just how bad Colorado is. It's captured, Mr. President. It's captured. Let's go ahead and play it.
In my sophomore year of high school, my English teacher had us do write an essay about how only white people can be racist and how it's basically like impossible for people of color to be racist towards white people. At school, for being white, for me, it's kind of like I kind of get singled out a lot. Like, people kind of judge me because I'm white. So it's not like there's some clubs I can't join because I'm white, and like majority of the teachers will like single you out of an assignment because you're white. So the teacher will kind of pull you aside and tell you like you're basically working on another assignment. So they'll like come up to you and say, you're not going to be working on this assignment with the rest of the class. You're going to be working on this topic, and then they'll give you the separate piece of paper. I don't get the full experience, I feel like, when it comes to learning because I'm white. Like, majority of the class, like, the teachers are focusing on, like, the colored students kind of and making sure, like, they are succeeding, whereas, like, the white students, they kind of just push aside and, like, don't care.
So we're allowing our students, we're allowing our children to be called racist and letting black students and Jewish students, like, everyone gets protected except for white people. Everyone. They're alienating and destroying and bullying with impunity white kids. I mean, if you're trying to start a war, you've done a pretty good job. But you won't. I don't think that's what they think's going to happen is going to happen. I think you're going to have white people and black people. So, by the way, you didn't have You didn't have civil rights success without white people. And just so you know, there was a large group of Jewish people that didn't want blacks to assimilate with whites. Go check it. Go check my math. Oh, Joe, you're anti-Semitic. Why can't we have a conversation about truth? Why the hell is truth so hard for us to have the conversation? And look, I have Jewish friends, I have black friends. My family is interracial, as it turns out. Why can't we have a conversation about evil people and what they're doing to destroy people? Destroy people. The Jewish group is down in South Africa. You know, kill white people? They're not white. They're Jewish. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. And these are Israelites, right? These are Israelites. How do you call it? You want to go back 2,000 years and tell me that, as Ted Cruz said, it's in the Bible. It's in Genesis 3, or it's in Genesis. And then you ask him where it is, and he can't tell you. He's a good Christian boy, though, isn't he? He's a Christian. Just ask him. You know, I decided that I was just going to ask the question to people. I was like, okay, where do you find the story of Moses? What book? I asked 5 people that I knew that said that they were religious. I'm only up to the cell.org. Okay, you're catching up on us. Executive order after he was fired. Executive orders. Yeah, it did. It was after he was fired. Okay, so yeah. All right. Well, I want to talk more about what they're trying to do with these racists. Let's call them what they are. They're racists. They're not Jews. They're Jewish. They're Satanists. The Anti-Defamation League is all about defamation. That's all they are. The Anti-Defamation League is the organization of defamation. And these people basically hide behind nonprofits, and it's seditious conspiracy against the American people. That's why they are getting mad that we're throwing out people that don't belong here, that are here illegally. And we have done nothing. We're slowly walking down this path, and the people that are responsible for it are the ones that are getting away with it. Liberty Line, yes, it's in the Old Testament, it's in Exodus. Yeah, a lot of people don't know it. A lot of people don't know where things are in the Bible. They don't know. They don't know about the 10 famines or trials of Moses, or the fact that Jesus came, or God came down and told Moses to do something, and Moses is like, who am I for you to have me do anything? I'm a nobody. Yeah, Ted Cruz is actually a major recipient of the smurfing money via Peter Berninger. Liberty Line, you're absolutely right. You know, I don't know how much longer I can stay in Colorado for a lot of reasons. Because if we don't get rid of machines and mail-in ballots, we are literally, and I keep saying this, like if President Trump wasn't going to win, I was leaving. I was leaving the country. You say, Joe, you can't get away from it. Yeah, but I can see someone from the United States coming where I was going. I was going to have to go. Can't speak truth and live in the United States when it's under this communist Marxist regime. We were going to war. And now I feel like we're going to war with other countries we shouldn't be warring with, all because of this Jewish pack, AIPAC, and the massive amount of, I have a judge right now on my case in Denver. This guy is a flat out weirdo who has lied over and over again. And he's on my case with Coomer. He's like, I'm a stickler for the rules, as he broke every rule. Frankly, I got to tell you something. There should be a massive investigation into the fact that this guy he's either corrupt to the core because he proved it, He allowed for people to be in a position where they were harmed. And he just, ho-hum, just shrugged it off. Should be a federal case, which we may pursue, a federal case against the judiciary of Colorado for being routed to the core. Eric Coomer is in big trouble right now, and we're still in this place where if we don't get rid of machines and mail ballots, it's not going to matter if they get arrested. We have got to get to a place where we have free and fair election. And we stop this thing that's happening to our white kids. Let's play this. So Mamdani is going to get rid of the gifted and talented program in the New York City elementary schools. He wants to get rid of it. Plans to phase out gifted and talented programs in New York City elementary schools. I just want to point out something. This piece of shit is not an American. I just want to point it out. He's not an American. He's a TikTok guy who came here, and by the way, he was in Egypt during the Arab Spring, causing trouble over there. Then comes to the United States and happens to get fast-tracked into citizenship. Tell me how that happened. How do you fast-track yourself into citizenship? And how does a radical guy who basically is a devil worshiper, how does that guy get into a position where he's running for mayor? And I'll tell you why. You have stolen elections and nobody feels like their voice even counts. And if you think that it's going to get better, it's not. It's not going to get better until we throw these people out on their faces. 1 year. Tina Peters was in jail for 1 year today. So let's go ahead and outro this with what we're sending to Congress. And you can contribute. I think it's on the website. I'm writing to demand the immediate release of Tina Peters, former Mesa County clerk, who has been unjustly incarcerated for a year. Ms. Peters has endured harsh conditions, separated by her family, and subjected to what may consider cruel and unusual punishment, all for exposing vulnerabilities in Colorado's election systems. She's committed no act of violence. She faces 9-year sentence for performing her constitutional duty. This is a glaring miscarriage of justice that cannot be ignored any longer. Enough is enough. The Peters case has drawn national attention, with leaders, including President Donald Trump, publicly calling for her release. The Colorado Attorney General has attempted to dismiss her habeas corpus petition, leaving her trapped in a legal limbo while her life and freedom are torn apart. Every day she remains in prison is another day that undermines our nation's principles of justice, transparency, and accountability. Her treatment is not just only unjust, it is waning on anyone willing to uphold the truth. It is a warning to anyone trying to uphold the truth. I urge you as my elected representative to take immediate action to demand Tina Peters' release and ensure she receives fair treatment under the law. The American people will not stand by while a political prisoner suffers for exposing flaws in the system. Please act now to restore justice and uphold the values that make our democracy strong. All right. And last message I have for President Trump. Mr. President Trump, I don't know what you're waiting for. I actually don't know. And you might say, oh, Joe, you don't have experience to talk to this. Yes, I do. I absolutely do. You can go check the math. I predicted what was going to happen in the Georgia runoff election in the Senate race in Georgia in 2021. I did so with almost exact precision. How did I do it? How did we do it? Well, I'm just going to tell you. I'm just going to tell you how we did it. It's really simple. It's called basic understanding of what a corrupt system is designed to do. And now we have all the evidence. We have whistleblowers that are coming in, getting deposed right now. And you have the AG of Colorado in Tina Peters' case that actually asked that deposition be stricken from the record. They're not even pretending that they actually are playing by the same rules. They're playing in a lawless environment. So, I don't know. I think that President Trump is overrun by stupid people. Like what they call them, throne sniffers? Throne sniffers. They wait for President Trump to fart, they just jump right in. So just punch drunk. I think the best thing I ever did, though, by the way, was giving up alcohol. I'm just trying to figure out what my new bad habits are. All right. Let's Speaker of the House Mike Johnson accepted $93 million in illegal donations to his campaign, third in line. Wow. How many in Congress are Ashkenazi Jews? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. All right, let's pray. Father God, thank you for the blessings we can't even count. And even given all the stuff that we're going through right now, we still are so blessed. There are so many people that live in other countries that don't even have the ability to have this conversation. Yet we can recognize what's happening and we can see this wave of evil that's trying to consume the United States. And they knew that because of the state and the federal system, that they had to consume things one bite at a time, take one state at a time, take a very patient approach to instituting their evil across our nation. We watched as our education system got swallowed up by radicals. We watched as demons placed their fangs into our young people. And we sat back and we didn't say anything because we didn't think anyone would ever walk down this path. It didn't make any sense. So Father, I just ask you give us the ability to fight against it. I ask that you give us the strength and you give us the pathway that we can, in our small part, do what is necessary in order to deliver us from this evil. Help us, Father, that we may speak truth and always hold to the tenets of truth. And help us, Father, that as we carry on and go through our daily work, that we can speak truth no matter what the consequence would be. We see it, Father. We see it right in front of us, that we are headed towards a very, very, very tough time. So, Father, I just ask you to give us the strength to overcome it. And I say these things humbly in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. All right, we'll see you guys later. Make sure you pray for Tina. Make sure you pray for President Trump. And you pray for our other leaders, even the ones that are doing us wrong right now, like Todd Blanche and Pam Bondi, and the AUSA of Wyoming, and the AUSA of the Colorado, and people like Jenna Griswold, and the other people that have committed massive crimes. They all need to be taken to the woodshed. And you know what happens there. Anyway, I hope you guys have a great weekend. Remember, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora, iHeartRadio, tune in to more. You can check us out on the website, or you can see us on Rumble and a bunch of other different places. Pill.net, give a shout out to them as well. Good people over there. And we're back on YouTube. That probably won't last very long just because, they like to censor people. And anyway, be good to your friends and family, and make sure you stay prayed up. Take care. God bless you.